Hi, I'm the Godless Engineer, and for our subject on Did Jesus Exist this week, we're going to be discussing the pardoning of Barabbas and why it probably didn't actually happen, and a weird correlation that makes it sound like a literary device more than an actual historical event. Now, this particular video is connected with my examination of Pilate in the Herod Pilate video. I would really suggest you going and watching that video right now. I'll wait. Are you back yet? No? Oh, okay. Now, as previously stated in my video that you just watched, Pilate isn't anything like how the Bible portrays him at all. Philo of Alexandria described him as arrogant, inflexible, stubborn, and relentless. He is also known for incredibly violent acts against innocent people, rapine, which means violently seizing someone's property, and senseless murder, whether or not someone was innocent of their crimes. Philo wasn't the only one either. Josephus characterized him as extremely corrupt and cruel. This does not sound like a man that would need to be pushed or threatened into killing Jesus, whether he was innocent or not. This is highlighted by the fact that he ordered the killing of Jewish protesters and innocent bystanders and didn't lose sleep whatsoever over these acts. In the Bible, the Jewish elders are portrayed as pushing and ordering him around. The real Pilate would have seen this as enough to fucking kill you on the spot. Yet, we find nothing like this in the Bible. The Jewish elders walk around with their big circumcised dicks hanging out all over the place and are free to bully Pilate into condemning Jesus to be crucified, which in reality, they wouldn't have had to do that at all. Actually, Pilate was known to do the exact opposite of what the locals were asking of him. Pilate was finally recalled to Rome in 36 CE, but not for his reluctance to kill Jewish locals. He was recalled to Rome due to a different slaughter of Samaritan pilgrims. Yeah, that sounds like a guy that would really need to be pushed into killing one rebellious Jew. Am I right? Now, during Jesus' trial, several things went fucky as depicted by the Bible. First off, the elders held a sort of pre-trial for Jesus to determine whether or not to turn him over to the Romans for execution. There isn't one instance of the Jewish elders acting as like an investigation committee for the Romans. In fact, they would have loved the very idea of it. Second, the Jewish elders claim that it's unlawful for them to put anyone to death. But just previously in the narrative of Jesus, they were going to stone the fuck out of a woman for adultery. Not to mention the fact that there's not a single thing in Jewish law that prevents them from killing somebody. If you had to say anything, I would say that the Jewish law actually promotes the senseless murder of people. It's not too far-fetched that the Jewish elders would lie at all, but that in itself would go against their own dogma. Pilate himself would have known what the Jewish elders were allowed to do by their own law because, I mean, he's the head motherfucker in charge, right? The third fucked up thing about this trial is the fact that the Jewish elders claimed they couldn't enter Pilate's residence because they would then become unclean and unable to take part in the Passover meal. This claim is about as real as Kim Kardashian's ass. There's nothing in the Jewish dogma or law that says this. Nothing. Finally, the Jewish elders wouldn't have asked for any execution other than stoning. Like, specifically stoning, because that is what the actual Jewish law required. In the end, Pilate wouldn't have had a problem killing Jesus for no cause at all, but the Bible has him needing a good reason to execute him, despite the fact that he would have most likely done the exact opposite of what the Jews were bullying him into. Now, the main focus of this video is the pardoning of Barabbas, when Pilate parades Jesus and Barabbas out in front of the crowd and has them pick which one to let go as some kind of tradition that's followed by the Jews of letting go a prisoner on Passover. On one hand, you have Jesus, and on the other, you have Barabbas, a well-known rebel and murderer. Now, the curious thing about this is that neither the Romans nor the Jewish had any such tradition of releasing a prisoner for Passover. It is completely fictitious. Another thing to consider is that Pilate has been shown to not give two shits about killing innocent people. So why would he possibly release a Jew that is a known anti-Roman murderer? That just doesn't mesh with his actual character. There literally isn't any supporting evidence at all for this quote-unquote tradition. Now, actually consider the situation that we have here. On the one hand, we have Jesus, who is proclaimed to be the Son of God, and by the Bible's account, proved himself through miracles. Actually, just a few days prior, he was heralded into the city by the entire population and proclaimed king. But now he stands alongside a murderer? Who would actually pick the murderer over this supposed Son of God? That just doesn't logically fit at all. I mean, you might be sitting there thinking, well, the priest probably riled up the crowd in order to fuck Jesus over big time. But that is really lazy thinking. You're totally disregarding the fact that in the Bible itself, it says that the people love Jesus so much. And that, the people would have despised the Jewish elders, the Jewish priests. Actually, the priests were so worried about public uproar over Jesus' arrest that they did it at night and held an illegal trial in a private residence. To me, that doesn't exactly scream that these people would have listened to these Jewish elders. It actually makes me think that they would have just flipped them the bird and told them to fuck off. So you have to ask yourself why they would jump alongside people that they so despise, while at the same time they had such a fucking raging hard-on for Jesus. You can't just write this stuff off as a non-issue. So with all of these problems with the pardoning of Barabbas, you have to question whether or not this event took place. And I would say that you even have to go as far as to question whether or not Barabbas even existed at all. And to me, more likely, he was not a real person, and I'll explain why. This tradition that Pilate goes through is the exact same format and reasoning of another Jewish tradition outlined in the Old Testament. The reason we can connect this is because the name Barabbas actually means son of the Father, and in many cases he is referred to as Jesus Barabbas. So what we have here are two sons of the Father. One carries the sins of Israel, being murder and sedition and all that shit. And he is let go into the wild as to carry away the sins of Israel. And then we have the other one that is sacrificed as a blood offering to the Lord in order to wash those sins away. Now, this directly correlates to the Day of Atonement tradition in the Old Testament. In that tradition, two goats are selected. One goat is released into the wild to symbolically carry away the sins of the locals. And then the other goat is sacrificed as a blood offering to the Lord, to God, as a way to wash away the sins, as to atone for the sins. So you can see how this is identical in format and reasoning to the pardoning of Barabbas. I mean, you can try to write this off as clever planning by an omniscient God, but then, it sounds just more like the way that storytellers link up their various works that are supposed to be connected. In summary, in the pardoning of Barabbas, I don't think that it was actually real, and there's substantial reason to believe this, because of the Day of Atonement ceremony outlined in the Old Testament matches so clearly with the pardoning of Barabbas. Not to mention the fact that they named Barabbas so accurately to denote this Day of Atonement ceremony. By linking Jesus and Barabbas having two sons of the Father, letting one go while sacrificing the other. There is a clear link to both of these. And it sounds more like a literary device rather than an actual historical event. I hope you liked this episode of Did Jesus Exist? Please go down below and subscribe if you would like to follow me as I travel through my explanation of why I don't think he existed at all. Don't forget to like and comment. Let me know that you want to keep seeing these by liking or commenting, or both. And don't forget to share this guy out. Let everybody see it. And let everybody know the truth about this pardoning of Barabbas and how much bullshit it actually is. I do hope that you guys will join me next time. I'm not sure of the subject yet, but I'll surprise you like I did this time. And as always, don't forget to